schedule release day in the NFL. And Ray Fittipaldo joins us now to get into that on the Fan Hotline, presented by Sullivan Super Service, providing trusted plumbing and HVAC service for over 50 years. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning, Adam. I want everyone to know I've done my part. I have followed Nicholas Callis, so hopefully we can get him to the prerequisite number of followers, and we could hear a little diss track later in the week.
Yes. Yeah, we're trying to get Callis to 2,000 Twitter followers. You can follow him at Callis, CALLAS _33. If he gets to 2,000 Twitter followers by 9:50 on Friday, he will play his diss track of me in the final segment of the week. So I know Andrew McCutcheon's 2,000th hit was ballyhooed and talked about an awful lot, and it took him a while to get there because he kept drawing walks. I think this is more anticipated. Callis getting to that 2,000 follower mark. All right, Ray, how much of this schedule leak stuff are you following? Because here's what I got so far, my friend. Steelers are going to open up on the road at Atlanta in the Arthur Smith revenge game. There's an unconfirmed report, but from a credible reporter saying the Steelers will travel to Denver for week 2 in what is the Russell Wilson revenge game. We've got a Jets reporter saying, and he's got 83,000 Twitter followers, that the Steelers will be taking on the Jets at Acrisure week 7 on Sunday Night Football. And then finally, this from Pony and Muller, and they crushed this last year, Steelers, Chiefs, Wednesday, December 25th. That's Christmas Day. So what are your thoughts on all that, Ray?
Well, we kind of know that they are probably going to open on the road because the Pirates have a little homestand there the first couple of weeks. So it would make sense if they are in Atlanta and Denver. And the Christmas Day thing, I don't know. That's a little bit of revenge on my part. A couple of years ago, I spent Christmas night at the Kansas City airport because they played in KC on the 26th. So their beat reporters now have to travel and get here on Christmas Eve. So I guess a little bit of revenge on my part there.
I believe that was Roethlisberger's final year, and that's when Deontay Johnson fumbled the football with, if you were watching on TV, there was no one in the picture.
And did he run backwards too?
He ran backwards first, then he fumbled the football, and then the Steelers got slaughtered in the playoff game later that year, and there was also weather-related concerns for that one. I actually, if the Steelers are opening up against Atlanta and then against Denver, I really like that. If you have to open up on the road, those are two teams they could absolutely beat.
Yeah.
And then the rest of your schedule, you're going to have more home games than road games, Ray. You're going to have 8 at home and 7 on the road.
Yeah, I agree with you. If you could even, split those two games, or best case scenario, obviously you're 2-0, and then you got a bunch of home games in October, November, and December. That would be ideal for the Steelers. We all know they have one of the most difficult schedules in the NFL, so you better take advantage of those two quote-unquote softer teams early, or you're really going to be behind it. So, yeah, I think if they go 1-1 in those first two, I think they'd be in good shape.
Ray Fittipaldo of the Post-Gazette joining us here on the Fan Morning Show. A lot of Cam Heyward discussion the last couple of days, Ray. Cam says he wants to play 2 or 3 more years and made it seem like it doesn't have to be in Pittsburgh. Do you think he'll play 3 more years? And if he does, do you think it will be in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, listen, that was a little bit out of the blue for me. He just turned 35 years old a couple of weeks ago. He's coming off that injury. And, Adam, it's not like quarterbacks, right? Quarterbacks play until they're 38, 40, 42 years old. When was the last time you saw a 6'5", 310-pound defensive end play until the age of 37 or 38 and play really well? So, I think it's great that Cam wants to continue to play. That means his rehab is going well, but I don't feel like this is a front burner issue for the Steelers front office. I think they want to get Freiermuth situated one way or the other so they can get a deal done with him. I don't think signing a 35-year-old defensive end is, something that's, something they want to do right now. I just think that's, that it's great that Cam wants to play, but I don't think the Steelers are going to be in a hurry to get something done there.
He absolutely rushed back because he wanted to help the team last year and then did not look like himself. If he is healthy, Ray, do you still think you get a high level out of Cam?
Yeah, because the previous season, he had double-digit sacks. I think he got a sack in his last regular season game to get to double digits again. So if you can get that player, yeah, I mean that $22 million cap hit, it's still bloated in my mind, but it would be a little bit easier pill to swallow if he was the Cam Heyward from the 2022 season. So I get that part of it, but Adam, 35-year-old football players coming off an injury, there's always that question about, aging gracefully. And, it's not that Cam can't do it. If anyone can do it, he can. But, sometimes the odds are just stacked a certain way, and it's just the way, Mother Nature is. So we'll see if he can bounce back. But, I kind of feel like he has to prove it first before, there's talk about any kind of contract or anything like that.
Ray Fittipaldo of the Post-Gazette joining us here on the Fan Morning Show. Going to talk about this a bunch with Doug Whaley coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. He says cornerback is a bigger need for the Steelers than wide receiver. Agree or disagree?
Oh, yeah, because you have multiple needs. You need a starting slot corner, and right now the only slot corners on their roster are Josiah Scott and Beanie Bishop. And Beanie Bishop just got here a week ago.
What is that guy, Josiah Scott?
He is a guy they signed to a futures contract who was drafted by Andy Weidel, I think, or picked up by Andy Weidel when he was in Philly. He started 4 games for Philly a couple of years ago, and he's on the roster. But, I mean, the point is that they need to find a guy there, whether it's Cam Sutton or whether it's Patrick Peterson or Chandon Sullivan or somebody else. But then, like, Adam, who's the top backup behind Dante Jackson and Joey Porter? There's nobody like that either. I mean, they just got this Anthony Averett guy last week, but he didn't play last year. And, so there's not a lot of recent history there where you could say, okay, at least we got a guy there. I mean, I think he's a big question mark too. So they need a couple of moves here, probably in the next couple of months. I don't think they're going to do anything now. I think they're going to wait to see how some of these guys play in OTAs and minicamp. But if they don't like what they see, they got to go out in late July, early August and get that situated.
Ray, we talked in the last hour about 2 names at wide receiver. A Denver beat reporter said that he still could see Courtland Sutton getting moved because they feel like they got a lot better at receiver in Denver. And then Bill Barnwell of ESPN linked the Steelers to Treylon Burks from Tennessee. Either of those guys move the needle for you?
Burks was a first-round pick who hasn't really worked out. Tennessee has had some quarterback issues the last couple of years. I think Levis was good in the second half of last season, but he hasn't panned out as a first-round pick. To me, I don't know. You could probably get him for a mid-round pick and probably a 4th or 5th rounder if that's the scenario. You're probably going to have to pay a little bit more for Sutton in compensation, and you're probably going to have to dole him out a decent contract. So, I don't view him in the same light as I would a Deebo Samuel or a Brandon Ayuk. But, if you're looking to fill that hole at number 2 receiver and you think you got to make a move, I think Sutton would be the cheaper option than going after one of those 49ers receivers.
Ray Fittipaldo with us here on the Fan Morning Show. You were at Steelers rookie camp, and Troy Fautanu was playing right tackle. Do you read into that at all, Ray, that he'll be the opening day right tackle for the Steelers?
I think they definitely wanted to see if he could play on that side, but I'm not going to read into it that he's going to be on the field September 1st. I think that's, the best case scenario is, he gets a good feel for it. Broderick Jones goes back to his natural left side, and, Fautanu can handle that. But that's what OTAs are for. They'll see what he looks like in training camp too. So I think it was noteworthy that they started him there. They kind of want to see if he can do it. But, we got, 6-8 weeks before any major decisions are made on that. And honestly, you got to see how he does in a couple of preseason games. If he does well in those preseason games, then I think he'll be out there with the ones on opening day.
Ray, this was enjoyable as always, friend. We will talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, Adam. Talk to you then. See you.
All right, Ray. That's Ray Fittipaldo of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Callis has picked up 20 Twitter followers in the last 8 minutes. So it's looking more and more likely that he'll be crushing me with a diss track on Friday.
Hooray!